Greetings and welcome to my channel, Meta Messiah. Thanks for joining and watching. Appreciate all your support. Make sure you hit the subscription button, like button before you're done watching the video to get more of my content. A lot of which is talking about cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and various things on the blockchain. And in particular, I talk a lot about Okinami, but today I'm going to talk a lot more about Tsuka. And hopefully I don't piss off too many people, as I do know a lot of people like this token. It's gone up a tremendous amount from its beginning when it was released May of last year, and has a huge following. Lots of big influencers, lots of people who follow it in the community. It's a strong community token. But I'd like to break down the evidence. Looking mostly at Tsuka's evidence. For the evidence of Okinami, I have a ton of videos, so go through the description of this channel. You can start with somebody else's video that's not even mine. It's the blockchain evidence that we have showing a very powerful connection to the Ethereum Foundation, their Ethereum wallets, and so on to the Okinami deployer wallet. Now, I'm going to talk about Tsuka's evidence today, mostly, and conclude based on a former video, and I'll put the link in the description where I did a Tsuka versus Okinami. We'll just call them the Ryoshi tokens. I mean, there's Dejitaro Sharudo, that's making a lot of commotion here. A lot of people are buying, and then Hoichi, which I kind of like Hoichi, just because I love the thematics. Cuckoo. There's my cuckoo clock always seems to go off during a video. At any rate, talking about the Ryoshi coins, a bad word for that. Tokens. They're not cryptocurrencies. These are tokens on the ERC20 network blockchain, and they're claiming that ties to this Ryoshi creative Shiba Inu, one of the most successful cryptocurrencies of all time, having made people fortunes. And that's where I really want to break it down. If you're claiming you're related to Ryoshi and Shiba Inu, how? I don't think it's enough just to do blockchain messages. You have to look at all of it. So let's put up here the video. Let's put up the video that Tsuka has on their Twitter. Really good video, and then we'll go from there.
May of 2022 of last year, the Tsuka token was launched.
It's just a dev talking on chain through Etherscan messages.
Very few people talked about it initially. You had no paid influencer, no massive shilling of any kind. It was launched in an extremely humble manner.
The messages kept coming, and the mystery surrounding the messages was so crazy that I ended up staying.
So it was launched on the 26th. 4 days later, Ryoshi Research, the Shiba Inu creator, changed his profile picture to Milarepa. That's when people started to understand that Tsuka was actually a cipher for Sangyeon Heruka.
We obviously need to talk about Milarepa. His story was passed down to Sangyeon Heruka, and Tsuka is Sangyeon Heruka. So Ryoshi is Milarepa. Ryoshi is passing down his story that he learned from Shib to Sangyeon Heruka, which is us, Tsuka. It's just such an unbelievable, deep connection.
It was a token that checked all those boxes. I started telling myself, this literally has the ability to be the next Shib. The math, to me, was like nothing I've ever seen before. I personally have 100% confidence in Tsuka.
It's fully distributed. That means that there are no tokens being held by a team in a dev wallet for a marketing budget.
Keeps that purity that I think Ryoshi was after, because the fundamentals are important.
And soon Tsuka is going to be listed on every exchange. I think in 2023 we are going to be listed everywhere. You know, this is going to completely blow up. We've done the hard work to get to this point.
What we've built so far has been completely organic, and this is truly a decentralized revolution that we're a part of, and this is something bigger than all of us, and nobody really knows how big Tsuka is going to be.
On the 20...
Pretty good video. I'm impressed by it. I'm almost convinced myself. And you know, this video is not meant to be financial advice. It's not meant to be investing advice. It's not meant to be educational. It's entertainment only. But it is meant to analyze the evidence, and that's what I do. And I think it's important to do so, especially when a token has gone up from its beginning this much. A lot of people are invested in this, and I have to say we have to look at the evidence and see what's there. And the biggest thing here is this cipher between Tsuka, TS, and then U.K.A, and then Milarepa. You saw the Tsuka was released, I think it said May 26, and then like 4 days or whatever later, several days later, the Ryoshi research Twitter account updates the profile picture to Milarepa. Let's take a look at my computer real quick and do some searches. Okay, so here are the search parameters I'm working with. I'll just hold the screen there and let's go over to Google and hopefully let's see what we can find. So starting with this search term here, this is where we get the root of the claim. This is the main claim here, okay? And we already know the name of Tsuka. It's pretty obvious. We know the name. And let me just adjust the light a little bit here so it's not directly on the screen. So my apologies for this amateurish video. But it is what it is. This is the fastest way I can get this video done today. So we see here, of course, one of the big connections is this author, okay? And he wrote a lot about this Tibetan monk and the life of Milarepa, okay? So what is the meaning of Tsuka itself? Let's go from here to there. So we see the TS and the U.K.A. All right, that's the cipher. All right, you know the name Tsuka. You've seen it with the token. So what's the meaning of Tsuka just itself? It's just by itself. It's about a Japanese sword hilt. Okay, what does Dejitaru meaning? What does it mean? So let's put that in next. Okay, so it's looking like the cuckoo clock is going off. Sorry about that. Dejitaru means digital. Interesting, because that's not the word altogether. Dejitaru Tsuka. Okay, so let's put that in. Japanese lore destined the Dejitaru Tsuka dragon to breathe vast flames of wisdom and prosperity to all who embrace its ferocity and strength. That's kind of cool. I do like the symbolism there and the meaning, the allegorical meaning. But I wanted to point out something. So Dejitaru Tsuka looks like it's a Japanese word use for the token. And so let's look at my next search, the common use of TS in Japanese. It's pretty ubiquitous, I think, in a lot of Japanese writing. From some of the Google searches, it's like, it's like CH in English, or SW, just two letters put together, and keep in mind the Japanese character be different. And this is from a Japanese character, okay, in Japanese put into English, okay? Our writing is not the same as the Japanese, okay? Very obvious. I don't know why I spend so much time on that right there, but let me go back to the image right here. This is more of what Japanese looks like, okay? And English uses different characters for our language. So even in TS, it's not an uncommon linguistic change over from the characters to English words, okay? And so my next one is TS word root in Japanese. Let's put that in there. All right, TS word root in Japanese. Okay. So, you know, it's found in various Japanese words. You know, once you take characters and whatnot, you're looking at a way of translation. Not necessarily when the Japanese characters are actually trying to represent English word characters. We have to be careful there. Let's look at U.K.A. All right, and again, U.K.A. Everything here is using the English characters. All right, okay. Some meaning here on U.K.A. What is U.K.A. in Japanese? Okay, so again, it's not uncommon from what I'm seeing here. You know, it's not a rarity in the language, and that's what I'm looking for. And I'll explain more later as why I'm looking for a rarity in the language of a word combination. Okay. All right. So Japanese words ending UKA, and then you'll see if you research this, there's quite a few Japanese words that once you translate them over to English, you're going to get the UKA. Okay. So what's the origin of Sangyang Haruka? Okay. So let's go to the next thing here again. This is the important link that they're making. Born in 1452 in a village called Karaka in Western Tibet. Okay, we get this character here, this character in history, a real person, seems like here, and important in that, you know, we have this writing in their literature from that part of the world. You can see it's pronounced a little bit differently here, but in terms of the collections of songs of Milarepa or Milarepa, I'm not sure if it's Milarepa or Milarepa, okay? All right, some importance there. Common use of the words TS in Tibetan literature. So now we're going from Japan all the way to the west of Japan onto the mainland past China in a totally other different language. And of course, Tibetan language, we can say then, okay, translated over to English, then we have the TS and so on and so forth. And TS shows up. That's what their writing, I believe, looks like. And Tibetan script or so on. Reason I'm doing this is just to show you how we get certain English words from that. All right. Common use of the word UKA. So now we see TS can show up in Tibetan words because that was a Tibetan person's name. Older, archaic too. I don't know about current, but 1400s to 1500s usage. And then common use of UKA in Tibetan literature. And then you'll see there's quite a bit of usage where you're going to find UKA from their script to ours. I mean, I mean, look at their language. I mean, obviously, our language does not look at like theirs in terms of, we even read right to left. I don't think they read that way. I think they go left to right in the Eastern world, and they use a totally different way of writing letters and words, vastly different than ours. It's right-brained more than it is left-brained like ours, okay? And then finally, connection between Milarepa and Sangyang Haruka. And you'll see here with Tsuka, TS, and then the UKA, and they're saying that's a cipher, okay? He wrote about this man. Now, Milarepa, we'll put the picture up here in just a second. All right, let's put up Milarepa or Milarepa here. This is the change in the profile picture that really is the crux. Okay, this is the crux. We go from Tsuka, okay, TS, UKA, and then we get this name of Sangyang Haruka. And it does start and end. There is undoubtedly a connection there. In terms of cipher, you can draw the connection. Obviously, there's no connection between Tsuka itself as a word and then the Tibetan Milarepa itself. So you have to go to who wrote about Milarepa. We go to the author. Okay, we'll just call him Haruka for short. The reason why this bothers me in some ways is, first of all, Ryoshi, in terms of the Ryoshi research, changed the profile picture, and there's this connection to Buddhism, and it actually happens after the fact, which that part doesn't bother me a whole lot, because I'm like, okay, well, here's this coin comes out, and yet 4 days later, we see, or I think it was 4 days later. Look at the video. Just check the video out we just watched. There's this change in the profile picture, okay, and then there's obviously the Tsuka to the author writes about Milarepa. What odds could there be that was just a coincidence? What odds is that is just a coincidence? I don't know. I'd have to look at it this way. What's the odds of the letter combination in English of Swiss cheese and SW, right, and ESE? Okay, how many English words have SW? Swirl, swamp, Swiss, or I said Swiss, as in Swiss cheese. Sorry about that. SWAT, swim, so on and so forth. A lot of English words have SW in it that start like that. How many English words end in ESE? Like trapeze. That's, I don't even know if that's an English word or so. I'm sure you can find a lot of English words that end in ESE other than cheese. PLE. Well, please wouldn't work. Work with me, people. There's probably a good number of English words that end in ESE. Okay. Actually, while we're doing this, forgive me here. Let's just look it up. English words. Got to do this with one hand and hold the camera with the other. Ending in ESE. My brain is not this fast this morning. It probably needed these, obese, geese, lease, LEESE. There's a number of words that do end up in ESE. So, word combination, if there was something ever to be done, let's just say there was a token called SWESE. Swiss. The Swiss token. And the Twitter account of somebody out there, let's just hypothetically, someone important, let's put up the important pick. Somebody randomly puts up Swiss cheese as their picture. Okay. Let's go back to the fact of the matter is we're working with somebody who is speaking to the world in English, not in the characters of the original language. So the cipher has to be English in and of itself, but there's also meaning with Buddhism and Tibet and so on. And so what would be the coincidence of a token that came out 4 days before called SWESE token, and then this very important cheese maker, okay, let's just say, I don't know, Swiss cheese. Okay. So it would seem to be reactive in that way, meaning Ryoshi research, okay, putting up this connection in that way and showing that there has to be some type of word connection. That by itself is not strong evidence, okay? because we have to first of all break down the evidence in terms of linguistics, and we have to break things down in terms of probabilities. What's the chance of this dormant account after all this time, after all these messages on the Ryoshi research account were deleted, Medium deleted, and this Milarepa, however you say it, shows up on that account. And the connection is actually through the author about this particular Buddhist character in Tibet. Okay, you only get the connection through the author name. All right, which there's something there. I'm not saying that there isn't. There's something there. And so, to avoid any digression here, I don't like that as solid proof of anything. It's not. In fact, it's very weak. It would be considered very weak evidence in a court of law, because I'd be like, that is so highly speculative, because it could be something else and it could just be coincidental. So then you have to look at the blockchain messages. I've been looking at enough ChatGPT stuff and AI related stuff to where I could go to an AI program and replicate how Ryoshi writes. Okay, I could create things that Ryoshi would say with AI and just test it over and over and pull what I like after I finally get, just like when you make AI art, you can finally get a picture that you really want after the AI gets it right. So you can mimic Ryoshi very easily with AI, or you could be a very clever author and write Ryoshi stuff. I don't even know what Tsuka does. I don't know. We have no idea what this token's all about. We just know the good news about the token is it's the way it was released was a fair launch, just stealth launch. It was found by people. They promoted it. There's no. This is a renounced contract. People love the fair launch thing. It seemed very Ryoshi-ish. No marketing wallets. The token looks safe in terms of the contract and doesn't look like a rug. We've already learned our lessons to what rugs look like in a lot of ways. This would be a good way to go about launching a token with some trust. That being said, my conclusion is that Ryoshi research, whoever's behind it, is a group of people. I believe that in terms of what Tsuka probably is, are some people who left the Shib project a while back who are trying to they want to recreate the experience and the profitability of Shiba Inu in this new token. So it's very much in the heart of Shiba Inu and strong community. Clearly they've been able to pump this token quite a bit. What doesn't sit right with me in a lot of ways is, okay, what is the ability of these rogue Shib, we'll just call them former devs, or I don't think they still do anything for Shiba Inu. I have not seen any nods from Satoshi Kusama, as far as I know, to Tsuka, although there could be there. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But, Satoshi would probably know who and a lot of people left Shib upset with Satoshi. Okay? Upset with the Shib project. And this could just be the rogue, let's get back to the Ryoshi spirit of doing things, and let's do this Tsuka token, and whoever in the Ryoshi research esprit de corps, or whatever, this corpus of people behind the scenes, they saw it and they're like, I'm going to put Milarepa on the Ryoshi research thing. I like it. Somebody might have said, I like it. I'm going to go with it. So they got a nod from whoever's controlling the Ryoshi account. Maybe. Okay. There's some other things that came out not long after Tsuka. Okay. One of which was the Okinami token. And like I said, Hoichi and Dejitaro Shirudo that there's all these tokens now that are appearing with also blockchain related messaging, claiming to be related to Ryoshi, claiming to be in their own way through the community, making those statements. I can only see, as far as the sophistication of the blockchain transactions, a much more Shiba Inu related actually to the core of the devs. I believe Okinami is much more related to the core of the devs of Shiba Inu and people who are involved with the Ethereum Foundation, because of the two deployer wallets being created 40 days apart over 4 years ago, Okinami being 40 days before Shiba Inu. And if you watch all my videos and you get the information from the community in the Telegram, links in the description, you will see that there's such a sophistication of transactions and just a myriad of photo evidence drawing connections with the ETH Foundation and Shiba Inu. Even this other Shiba Inu account on Twitter, who seems rather dedicated to putting out messaging that seems to connect with the wave imagery. Not long after I even posted something with a very famous Hokusai artwork, I saw on that same account that same exact artwork was put up again. Very odd. Okinami's community has broken it down over and over with the blockchain analysis and the things that we're seeing in the deployer wallet and the transactions through the blockchain. Very sophisticated. Only probably people with resources, the amount of ETH. We're seeing wallets with a lot of ETH. Okay. And there you go. Do your own research, but when you start doing the research into Okinami, I just simply see a better case for it being connected to the type of connections the community believes in and desires. Whereas with Tsuka, I see a lot of hype. I don't call them hypers, pumpers. I see a lot of influencers and big accounts. I see a lot of influencer accounts that just saw this early connection and just love the idea of Shiba Inu happening all over again. And so they've been able to effectively draw up a much stronger community through Twitter and in YouTube, and they are pulling people in the Tsuka community, pumping it on this connection based on, blockchain messaging, of course, that sound like Ryoshi and things that Ryoshi would say, which I said could be mimicked pretty easily with AI, and the fact that there's this TS and U.K.A connection with the author of this book we spoke of earlier, and you saw that. That doesn't sit with me very well as somebody who's looking to put my money into something. Although if you take a crapshoot and put a little bit in there and buy some, again, not financial advice. If you can afford to lose it, you could buy it. It's up so much I wouldn't even bother touching it. It's up a ton. Whether it's a continued trend, I don't know. The token has to have some type of utility. If it doesn't have any utility and it's not worth using, a community-based token alone, we are showing that Shiba Inu itself would have probably imploded if it does not have Shibarium. If Shiba Inu did not have its metaverse, if Shiba Inu didn't have its usage in terms of a currency and to buy things, if Shiba Inu didn't have Shiba Swap, if it didn't have all the things in its ecosystem, Shiba Inu would be dead. Okay? Look at Saitama. I hate to pick on this one, but I do. Mostly just speaking it into, closed circles, but I'll bring up Saitama. I'll call out Saitama here. That thing went up a ton. Saitama, from its beginning all the way through its peak, went up a ton, and they have to do a V2 token, and they migrated over to this new token that this thing is worth hardly anything from its peak. It looks like a rug pull in a lot of ways. And I would call Saitama pretty close to a scam because they never followed through. I think they tried to follow through to keep the scam going. Be like, well, in order for the scam to make a lot of money, we have to do some things. And you could see just minimal investment. You could see what Saitama, minimal investment into Saitamask and other things that were huge failures. Even their big live AMA that they did in Las Vegas, when I saw it, I was like, what is this thing all about? This looks like crap. I'm like, come on. For such a doxed project with all these people hyping it up. I'm like, you look like a bunch of amateurs on the stage. And there's nothing delivered on this except for like big talk and no follow through. Tsuka could implode, or any other token, Okinami, if all it is just community based. We love it, and then people see the big bull run and they're like, well, what does Tsuka do? Because people like the token. It might get some listings. I've seen a lot of listings for tokens like Luna, Terra Luna. Look at where Luna's now. And they actually had utility. It was a blockchain. But Tsuka has to be putting their money where their mouth is. Okay? All I see is a very popular community token trying to reproduce the Shiba Inu story. That there could be some connectivity between people who like the esprit de corps with it from Ryoshi's team or whoever these people are. I don't think Ryoshi is a single individual. Could have put that picture on there and said, yeah, we want people to make tokens for Shibarium. We want people to make tokens that are, in the spirit of Shiba Inu. But if you don't develop it along that line, what are you going to get? And it's already gone up so much. Why not deliver on the product by now? I mean, I'm waiting to see, what is Tsuka going to do? What is it going to do? I mean, you already got this many people in on it. Release something, dev, with Tsuka. I mean, it's different when it's like just sitting there like Okinami, where, yeah, it's doing well from its start, but it's connected to the surge. It's not time for surge stuff. We're in the Shanghai fork right now. We're working on staking validator. There's a lot of stuff to be done before the surge. Because if Okinami is what it looks like, it has a lot to do with scaling Ethereum, 100,000 transactions per second, and the surge, which is the next phase. It's not going to happen probably till mid-year or after May. Okay, after May 1st, we might see some stuff with the surge. We're not there yet. But with Tsuka, I mean, there's no connection like that. There's no like, except for Shibarium, which is coming out. So if after Shibarium we don't see anything other than maybe you could trade Tsuka on Shibarium, it's really kind of like cool to get a listing with Shibarium or be able to trade on Shibarium. That's great. But what does the token do? Just a popular token. A lot of people own it. Once they see there's no fruition, people are going to sell it. It's going to dump. All right? And it'll be another story like the rest of these rug pulls where it's just like, well, where did all the money go? Well, you could still be behind Tsuka and have a bunch of wallets set up to buy it, and you're just waiting for a peak price, and you start selling it once the news is pretty much out that there's nothing to it other than we try to do a Ryoshi-ish thing, and we couldn't do the technology. We didn't have the devs. We didn't have the dev teams to do the technology. Your devs are the technological resource. When you're buying a project, you're buying not just the roadmap white paper, you're buying those devs. You're buying the brain power, the brain trust behind it. So in the end, if I can draw some connections from Okinami to the Ethereum Foundation brain trust, I feel more comfortable there than an anonymous person with Tsuka that at best has like this Ryoshi-ish story going for in a popular community. Okay? Because when these things tank, they tank fast. Okay? And you lose all your money. Be careful what you invest in, folks. I'm going to stop here. I know I talked a little bit about Hoichi and Dejitaro Shirudo. I'm learning more about those tokens, but in the end, I'm trying to find out if there's a story of these tokens. Possibly, in the end, the story I'd love to see is a handful of tokens, including Okinami, that are all Ryoshi projects. That'd be great. It'd be good for the ERC20 ecosystem. It'd be great for everybody. If the utility's there, the utility's there. But if it's just community tokens, there's no technology there. It's all about what they do. And that's where the real value is, as I've come to understand. You can have a popular community token people love and pump, but if it doesn't deliver a product in the end, your 80% narrative will fail, and your 20% product still has to have the meat and potatoes of a good project where the tokens and the technology do something. Safety, security, and all that other stuff included. That's all. Like the channel, spread the news, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. So easy to do. Just boop, hit the bell and get more notices about my videos. If I pissed off a lot of Tsuka people, I don't care because I'm asking you to show me the money. Just like in Jerry Maguire, show me the money. You know, show it to me. I saw that the video's great. I love the video, but that's not enough. Okinami, we still have to prove our case too. And until there's a roadmap white paper, we're kind of in the same boat, but I like my boat on the wave. I see my boat on the wave. The great wave, Kanagawa, is the one that makes it to the shore. Okay, maybe that's what this is all about, testing everybody's faith. And that'd be a pretty cool story in the end too, and that's why I'm following it, because it's very interesting. Till next time, folks, thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time.